This past Friday's episode of SmackDown on USA Network was an incredibly newsworthy edition of the Blue Brand. And just like Friday's episode, could tonight's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix be just as big, with several possible major surprises in store, courtesy of Paul Triple H Levesque and his creative team. We'll let you know 5 possible major surprises that could be set to take place tonight on Monday Night Raw in this countdown video. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and certainly last Friday's episode of SmackDown from Chicago, Illinois was an incredibly newsworthy show featuring the dramatic return of AJ Lee to WWE for the first time in over a decade. It also featured the return to WWE television of Brock Lesnar for the first time since SummerSlam as he attacked John Cena. It also had several high-profile and newsworthy matches and moments. And just like Friday's episode of SmackDown, tonight's episode of Raw could have similar big, possible major surprises. Tonight's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw is taking place from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Paul Triple H Levesque could have some big things in store. We're going to get into them. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Let's begin with AJ Lee appearing. This isn't much of a massive surprise because it's now already been confirmed by WWE themselves. It was announced on Sunday via social media that for the first time in over 10 years, AJ Lee is scheduled for an episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. Now, reports had come out after Lee made her stunning return to WWE's Friday Night on SmackDown that she was expected for Raw Monday in Milwaukee. Now it's been confirmed by WWE themselves. On Sunday, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce announced via social media that Lee will be live on Monday's episode of the show on Netflix, which of course, as mentioned, is scheduled for Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, Adam Pearce actually said the following on social media. He said, quote, "Everybody saw what took place on Friday, and now, for the first time in more than a decade, AJ Lee will be live in the house on the flagship." So she is now set. What we're going to see from AJ, well, one would expect we're going to get some kind of explanation as to why she appeared Friday night on SmackDown and backed up her husband CM Punk. It's not really going to be too much to explain, is it? Of course, we've seen in recent weeks Becky Lynch get involved in the feud between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Of course, Becky Lynch was the reason that Seth Rollins pinned CM Punk in the main event of Clash in Paris. She hit Punk with a low blow. It allowed Rollins to hit the stomp and then retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in that fatal 4-way match. The following night on Raw, we saw Becky Lynch slap CM Punk multiple times in the face. Of course, Punk, as he said Friday night, would never put his hands on a lady, but thankfully he knows someone that will, and that's when AJ Lee returns. So, given that Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, they're members of the Monday Night Raw roster, as is CM Punk, you would think that despite returning on SmackDown, AJ Lee will probably be featured more often on Raw than on the Blue Brand. So AJ Lee will explain, she'll speak for the first time. Of course, people actually forget when it comes to AJ Lee's retirement. Many people just remember that she retired after WrestleMania 31 back in 2015, but she did actually compete on the Raw after WrestleMania, the following night on Raw. It was a 6-woman tag team match, and that actually was her final match before her retirement a decade ago. So, given the fact that it's kind of similar-ish to CM Punk, isn't it, in his return in 2023 when he returned in Chicago, just like AJ Lee did, and then we heard him speak for the first time inside of a WWE ring in close to a decade, where on Monday Night Raw, same as AJ Lee. So AJ Lee is going to speak, and you think with her speaking, her promo, in likelihood she'll be backed up by CM Punk. Likelihood we'll probably get interruptions by the likes of Seth Rollins and the likes of Becky Lynch, but we're going to get one confirmation on the match that's going to be taking place at WrestlePalooza, because as of right now, this match is not yet official. We've known for the last week or so, haven't we? Really, since the end of Clash in Paris, that we were building towards this mixed tag team match that was going to be taking place at WrestlePalooza. Well, time is rapidly running out between now and September 20th when WrestlePalooza is going to be taking place. Of course, it's WWE's first PLE on ESPN since the move from Peacock, so WWE is loading up that show, making sure it's absolutely jam-packed and certainly a major selling point, and I guess if you're ESPN, a hope that will drive subscriptions is this not only WrestlePalooza show, but the fact that it's going to feature the return to the ring for AJ Lee for the first time in over a decade. She's going to be teaming with her husband, CM Punk. She's going to be facing off against Becky Lynch for the first time ever. They've never shared the ring together in official competition. So there's a lot there. So first of all, we've got to get the announcement, right? We've got to get the announcement. The announcement still hasn't actually taken place. One would think that after tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw is all said and done, we'll get an official confirmation that it's going to be CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at WrestlePalooza. How are they going to get there? One would think maybe some physicality. Maybe we'll see a situation whereby, I don't know, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch attack, AJ Lee and CM Punk. Maybe there's a situation where Rollins attacks Punk in somewhere in the arena, and that's when Becky Lynch attacks AJ Lee. Something like that. We're going to get some way, some vehicle to get this match official for WrestlePalooza. And then that goes to the next question, which is, okay, the match is made official. Is it just going to be that? A plain mixed tag team match, CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Like, that in itself is big enough, isn't it? That is more than a selling point for people, if they were on the fence about watching the show, to download the ESPN streaming app or purchase the premium live events, however you're going to watch it, or internationally, if you didn't have Netflix, of course. Okay, I'll watch it on Netflix. A reminder, you can watch it on Netflix too. All you have to do is get a NordVPN. You can do so by using our links in the video description below, but also on the sidebar. So that itself, a mixed tag team match, would probably be enough. But you wonder, do they up it? Do they say, look, in this match, two people are title holders on Monday Night Raw, right? Seth Rollins is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Becky Lynch is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. And we did see, and you'll be able to see it in these pictures on the screen as they go through in this video, that AJ Lee did leave with the Women's Intercontinental Championship on Friday as she continued to celebrate with CM Punk after the show went off the air. You can see her right there holding up the Women's Intercontinental title. It would imply that AJ Lee, that's the title that she's going to go after. So do we have a real feel-good moment at the WrestlePalooza show that you have CM Punk and AJ Lee both win gold? Could we see a scenario whereby the mixed tag team match is for both the Women's Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship? Could we see a stipulation whereby if AJ Lee pins Becky Lynch, she becomes the Women's Intercontinental Champion. If CM Punk pins Seth Rollins, he becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. But then you would only really do that if you're teasing dissension. I'm not really sure why you would do that with the husband and wife pairing that have only just returned to WWE. It feels like an odd choice. But you could see something like that. Maybe that's how Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch would only agree to the terms for the titles to be on the line kind of scenario, because they want to try and split up the husband and wife kind of scenario. I don't know. But it feels like, one, we're definitely going to get confirmation of the mixed tag team match. As far as the stipulation goes, or titles being on the line, we'll have to wait and see, won't we, on that one. But let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Do you think we could see some kind of stipulation at WrestlePalooza when it's CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch? Let me know your thoughts about that, as always, in the comment section below. Now, before we move on to the next item in this countdown video, a reminder, this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our affiliates. You'll be able to see them throughout the video on the sidebar, such as VeroShave there, NordVPN, Shed Meal Replacement Shakes as well. You can find out all the information on them in the video description below. They'll be pinned in the comment section as per usual. And you can get yourself some great products, you can save yourself some money, and you can continue to support the channel in the process whilst doing that. Your support really is so much appreciated here at WrestleNews 365. Now let's move on and talk about the Usos. Now, if you watched last week's episode of Raw, you would have seen that Jimmy Uso came to the rescue of his brother Jay, and it looks like something is brewing. Now, the Usos, as I mentioned, are actually scheduled for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce revealed in that same announcement, announcing that AJ Lee would be on Raw tonight. He revealed that both Jimmy and Jay Uso would be live. He said, quote, "The Usos, in my opinion, future first ballot Hall of Famers. They will be in Brew City. And what will they have to say? Let's find out together." Now, as I mentioned on last week's episode of the show, we saw a situation whereby Jimmy Uso had to come out to the rescue of his brother Jay. This was after he was attacked by Bron Breakker and Big Bronson Reed of The Vision. They've seemingly Breakker and Reed had their sights set on putting Jey Uso on the injured reserve, similar to how they did to Roman Reigns. But when Big Jim ran down to the ring with a steel chair to make the save, it looked like the Usos were reuniting. So the Usos are going to be live this evening. They're 8-time WWE Tag Team Champions. Certainly they're going to have some things to say for two members of the Vision. And you wonder, are we going to see them throw out a challenge? If they are, what's it going to be for? Is it going to be for WrestlePalooza on September 20th? Usually, WWE doesn't have huge match cards for events that aren't, the usual top tier shows like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. But WrestlePalooza, of course, it's this massive show that WWE are building up because it's the first one that's going to be on ESPN. Now, we know 2 matches so far. We know that Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer is going to be taking place for the Women's World Championship. We know that John Cena versus Brock Lesnar is going to be taking place. We do kind of know, basically, that mixed tag team match that I spoke about previously is going to take place. So maybe you do have the Usos reunite to face off against Big Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker of the Vision. So I wouldn't be shocked if this evening we see, obviously, the Usos continue to reunite, but we also see a challenge being thrown out there for WrestlePalooza. And maybe this is the beginning of them coming back together and going for another run at the WWE World Tag Team Championships on Monday Night Raw. We'll have to see about that. Or if it's literally just about facing up against the Vision, strength in numbers, that kind of stuff. And maybe when Roman Reigns comes back from his filming of Street Fighter, when he comes back of his hiatus, maybe Reigns teams up with both Jimmy and Jey, and they face off against possibly, they face off against Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, and maybe someone else. Maybe this is going a bit further ahead for WrestlePalooza, but maybe WrestlePalooza is when we see the debut of this new member of the Vision that isn't Becky Lynch, maybe a Ricky Saints, an Ethan Page, or someone we haven't even thought of. And then that is when you get Roman Reigns, Jimmy, and Jey facing off against Breakker, Reed, and this new member of the Vision. But that's maybe thinking several steps ahead. But I wouldn't be too shocked if the Usos throw out a challenge this evening on Monday Night Raw. Now, I spoke about it. One thing we do know we're going to be getting tonight is a contract signing when it pertains to the Women's World Championship. Now, we already know that a new Women's World Champion will be crowned in Indianapolis later this month when Io Sky faces off against Stephanie Vaquer. Well, the Genius of the Sky and the Dark Angel will both be in Milwaukee tonight to sign their contract for WrestlePalooza. So we know we're getting a contract signing. Does this lead to physicality? Does this lead to... it's a WWE contract signing. Every contract signing in WWE, they tend not to go particularly smoothly. Now, let's say that Sky and Vaquer, they're going to do the whole babyface versus babyface thing. They respect each other. They've teamed together in the past. If you recall the Raw after WrestleMania, it was Vaquer versus Io Sky back then. So they certainly do have respect. Maybe it's a case where they do have respect, but they're interrupted by someone on Monday Night Raw or a couple of the members of the women's roster, and this leads to a tag team match. Maybe I wouldn't be too shocked if I see that. That certainly feels like that could be a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. But Sky and Vaquer are going to sign their contract. Let me know your thoughts, how you think this one is going to go, because there does feel like there's a bit of a vacuum in the women's division on Monday Night Raw now. Of course, Naomi relinquishing the Women's World Championship after announcing her pregnancy. You've got Liv Morgan. She's injured, so she's out of action. Rhea Ripley has been kind of pulled away from the championship, which probably isn't the worst decision by WWE at the moment. So you have this situation whereby there is this vacuum ready for someone to lead the division on Raw. Now, Io Sky's done it before. She did it going into WrestleMania. Maybe it's now the time for Stephanie Vaquer. And certainly feel like segments like this are once again going to be seen as if Vaquer can hang in these kind of promo segments. Io Sky, they've got 2 talents here that are talking not in their native tongue, cutting promos in front of an audience. It's not easy, and we'll find out how they do on Raw. And finally, we saw him on Friday night on SmackDown. Could we see a surprise appearance from Brock Lesnar? Now, as I mentioned, we saw this past Friday on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar, for the first time since SummerSlam and for the first time since 2023, actually appeared on WWE regular television. Lesnar, of course, made his stunning return to WWE at the conclusion of SummerSlam last month when he attacked John Cena after Cena lost the undisputed WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes. We hadn't heard or seen from Lesnar since then. We had heard Nick Aldis say on a recent episode of SmackDown that he had heard from Lesnar, but we didn't find out what Lesnar had to say because John Cena was punched in the face by Logan Paul. But we did hear rumors and rumblings, didn't we, that Lesnar was set for SmackDown in Chicago, and we saw the Beast Incarnate once again appear. He appeared interrupting the United States Open Challenge match between Sami Zayn and John Cena. Lesnar appeared, hit F5s on both Sami Zayn and Brock Lesnar's now opponents at WrestlePalooza in John Cena, which you can see right there. After that match, he walked in through the gorilla position backstage and says, "John Cena, I'll see you at WrestlePalooza, bitch." And the match was then confirmed. So we now have a situation where the match is confirmed. We know that Lesnar is set for SmackDown on Friday, but could we see a situation where Lesnar appears on Raw on Monday as well? We know that Lesnar has very limited dates on his new contract that he has signed. John Cena, as far as we're aware, is not set for tonight's episode of Raw. He's only got like 5 appearances, 5 dates left on his contract for this retirement tour. So if Cena was advertised, we would know about it. We don't have to, worry about surprise appearances or what have you. But to continue the build to their match at WrestlePalooza, perhaps we see Brock Lesnar appear tonight on Raw to surprise people. Certainly there are a lot of eyeballs on the WWE product at the moment, and quite a few people are expecting returns and surprises, and maybe they do a bit of a double whammy this week. Just when you thought Lesnar was only going to be appearing Friday night on SmackDown, maybe he appears on Raw on Monday. We've seen Lesnar now appear on a premium live event at SummerSlam. We've seen him appear on USA Network for SmackDown. We've still yet to see Brock Lesnar make a live appearance on Netflix in the United States. Remember, of course, Netflix broadcasts everything WWE internationally, but in the United States, when Brock Lesnar made his stunning return to WWE and F5 John Cena at SummerSlam, that was still on Peacock. So we haven't seen Lesnar appear on Raw since it moved to Netflix. Maybe that will change us this evening. Or if not, we'll have to wait till Friday to see the Beast Incarnate once again. So there you go, guys. There are 5 possible major surprises that could be set to take place tonight on Monday Night Raw from Milwaukee on Netflix. What are your thoughts on that list? Which ones do you think are likely, unlikely? Have I missed anything out? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.